I'll start the proceedings with Aurangzeb Saab. And Aurangzeb Saab, my question to you is largely with respect to the way in which our economy is progressing or economy is regressing, the way in which you obviously see this. And there have been a lot of indicators with respect to economic vulnerabilities, political uncertainties, and also we are facing some geopolitical instability. And all of this is causing a significant impact on various macroeconomic indicators. And with this, obviously, we are seeing that the financial crime landscape is very significant, is evolving very rapidly. So, obviously representing one of the largest banks in Pakistan, what is your view on the changing landscape of financial crime in Pakistan with respect to business strategies and the compliance risk management strategies and financial crime risk management strategies as well? So, your thoughts, please, on this, Aurangzeb sir.
Thank you, Faraz. I would also like to thank the organizers to have invited me. देखिए, आपका जो आपने सवाल पूछा है वो एक्चुअली दो different questions हैं. The first one is with respect to the current situation. And there's no doubt about that we are in a perfect storm because of the confluence of factors that you have just mentioned. So I'm not going to repeat those. लेकिन देखिए, the banking industry continues to step up the way we stepped up during the COVID period. Because at one point in time, 1/3 to almost 50% of the physical network was closed. But the banking industry moved seamlessly in terms of the virtual offer. और वही चीज़ अब हम इसको आगे लेकर जा रहे हैं. Because अगर आप पिछले 18 महीने देखें, IMF on, IMF off, and the economic stress which comes out of it. And then, of course, the devastation around the floods that you have mentioned. And the banks have kept the show on the road in terms of financing. ये मैं नहीं कह रहा, ये अभी जो statistics आए हैं Q4 के, in terms of how the private sector lending has gone up. So, and number one. Number two, to the extent that we can help the exporters, importers, we have kept the trade business going. Now, having said that, this is not sustainable. If this situation continues, and this uncertainty continues to go for the next few months, my own sense is we are going to look at systemic risk for the banking industry. And that would be a big blow to this economy. अभी आपने President साहब को सुना है, timely decisions, timely execution. छोटा से छोटा इदारा हो, बड़े से बड़ा मुल्क हो. Timely decisions, timely execution. We are not going to graduate from the IMF program. We are into EFF Part 1. Whoever comes back after the elections, जैसे अभी President साहब ने कहा, we don't care who comes back after the elections, will have to deal with the IMF as they go forward. There's going to be EFF Part 2. We need to internalize that. We need to internalize that, and we need to understand, especially around the structural reforms. It's in the best interest of the country, and we should pay heed to it. And all the stakeholders should make the right decisions around it. तो ये situation है जी कि banking industry जो कुछ कर सकती है वो इस वक्त कर रही है और हम इंशाल्लाह करते रहेंगे. Now let's come to the second part of your question कि what does that actually mean for the financial crime regime. तो पहली तो सबसे अच्छी खबर है, मैं सुबह के आपसे सेशन में नहीं था, लेकिन जो FATF से हम निकले वाइट लिस्ट पे हैं, वो कि हमेशा कहते हैं कि getting to number 1 is easier, staying number 1 is more tough. तो अब हमारा जो collectively हमने जो काम करना है is around sustainability. And this is not just the banking industry, it's law enforcement agencies, it's our judicial system. All of us have to work together to ensure we stay on the white list. अब इसमें जो factors banking industry ने देखने हैं from my perspective, उसमें 3 या 4 different factors हैं which are going to define the financial crime regime. Global standards, those are there and they are evolving. उसमें FATF है, उसमें anti bribery है, उसमें ESG है, उसमें अब now fintech है, fintech की बात हो रही थी, blockchain है. So these are global standards which are evolving. Then there are global threats, wars, the geopolitics, embargoes, sanctions. Then closer to home, the geography that we live in. especially now on the western border. The evolving trade-based money laundering situation, given the disturbing situation there, we all need to be watchful. And then the fourth thing is our own internal structures, how we are organized, how we do things. So inka jo amalgamation hai is going to continue to define the emerging financial crime regime, और उसमें हमें एक risk-based approach सब बैंकों को ले रहे हैं और हमें लेनी पड़ेगी. अब उसमें इसका जो main discussion है वो ये है कि in terms of the inherent risk of the country, that will remain high, given all the factors that I've just mentioned. What we need to collectively as bankers ensure that we put enough compensating controls so that जो residual risk है, उसको हम manage कर सकें. अब उसमें दो चीज़ें हैं, and then I'll just wrap up because my worthy peers are waiting for your further questions. वो compensating controls क्या हैं? पहला तो ये है कि आप AML को strengthen करें, transaction monitoring को strengthen करें, sanctions को. So everything around, all our compliance colleagues who are doing their level best to get this thing going. But the fundamental thing is know your customer. ये KYC को हम समझते हैं कि ये tick the box. No, this is the first line of defense. If we get the first line of defense doing the right thing, ताकि ना वो कचरा आए, because it's kachra in, kachra out, right? So we have to be very clear what is actually coming onto our balance sheet, what's coming onto into the banking system. So the first line of defense, as far as I'm concerned, as far as my bank is concerned, for me, that is the most important thing. And the second thing is the role of technology, जो सारी आप लोग बातें करते रहे हैं. The way the transaction volumes are going up and all of that, we cannot continue to throw more bodies at it. So टेक्नोलॉजी का जो रोल होगा उसमें AI भी है, उसमें बॉट्स भी हैं, ताकि जो एनालिसिस है और जो डेटा गैदरिंग है, those should be done through bots. And then we have our AML analysts who should then continue to look at whatever the recommendations are coming through, and then those make those decisions. So I think in terms of compensating controls, these are going to be two very important elements. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Aurangzeb Sahab. And I think you talked about the country-level compensating controls and country-level risk assessments. And I happened to speak with a few of the compliance chiefs and compliance heads, and they have been talking rigorously about the fact that the country is undergoing a national risk assessment exercise, and there is a dire need for all the compliance stakeholders and the other stakeholders, obviously naturally, to be a part of that exercise, so that as a country we present a holistic picture of the profile of the risk that the country's new dynamics present, and the kind of, then we can decide which types of controls we can adopt for addressing those risks at the country level, or perhaps maybe we can delve that down to the individual organizational levels and the industry like banking and non-bank industries. So thank you very much for your response, Aurangzeb Sahab. Now